This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed.
Squiz Kids! It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Thursday, October 14. In Squiz Kids Today, we're off to the moon. Dolphins leap into footy comp. One very expensive car ride. And sending bees in the mail. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Break out your astronaut suits and dust off your rocket ships, people. Australia is off to the moon. The government in Canberra yesterday announced that Australia has signed an agreement with the American space agency NASA to build a rover that will go to the moon and start work on setting up a permanent human base there. It's an exciting leap into space for Australian scientists and engineers who will now get busy building a rover, which is like a buggy packed with scientific instruments that can drive around on the surface of the moon and collect soil samples to bring back to Earth. Now, why do we want to collect samples of dirt from the moon? Because there's oxygen locked in the moon's soil, and if we can work out a way to extract that oxygen, we can use it to breathe when we set up a permanent human base up there on the surface of the moon. How cool is science? All going well, the Aussie rover could be up on the moon as soon as 2026, so only 5 years away. It's all part of a wider space exploration program, which includes plans to not only establish a permanent home for humans on the moon, but also send humans to Mars. What an exciting time to be alive.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Denmark, where a man has just learned that speeding in your car can be a very expensive thing to do. The man had just bought a brand new $400,000 Lamborghini, which car fans among you will know is a super fast sports car. Whilst driving home on the freeway and travelling at more than 100 kilometres an hour above the speed limit, he was pulled over by Danish police, who made him hand over the keys. Under a new law in Denmark, police can seize the cars of people who speed, sell the car, and give the money to the Danish government. The policeman said that the man was a little annoyed, which I guess you would be. But I'll tell you something for nothing, you can bet he won't be speeding again anytime soon.
Sport time.
It's already got sharks, sea eagles, panthers and tigers. And as of 2023, the NRL will also have dolphins in its midst, following confirmation yesterday that Brisbane Rugby League team, the Redcliffe Dolphins, will be joining the competition. The announcement means the Dolphins will become the 17th club in the national comp, the second club for Brisbane footy fans alongside the Broncos, and only the fourth club in footy-mad Queensland, joining the Broncos, the Titans and the Cowboys. Now, the real fun begins. With only a year to get their team sorted before the start of the 2023 competition, the Dolphins will be on the hunt to lure top players from other teams, as well as a big-name coach. And the word on the rugby league street is that Rabbitohs coach Wayne Bennett is likely to be named as the new coach of the Dolphins in the coming days or weeks. Watch this space.
Animal Kingdom.
Has anyone at your house complained lately that a parcel they ordered is taking ages to arrive? Well, spare a thought for the queen bees being shipped through the mail to farmers all over Australia. You probably know this from science already, but bees are important pollinators for 2/3 of all of Australia's crops. Pollination is when the bee lands on a male flower to eat some delicious nectar, flies onto a female flower and takes with it the pollen that allows the female to bear fruit. Every beehive depends on a queen bee, and if a queen dies or gets old, it can take the hive over a month to make a new queen. And farmers don't necessarily want to slow down their crop pollination, so they order replacement queen bees instead. And that's where the postal delays come in. Lately, queen bees being sent across the country via mail have been arriving weak, exhausted, and sometimes even dead because they've spent so long in their boxes. Australia Post is struggling to keep up with demand for deliveries at the moment due to the pandemic, with border closures and fewer planes flying to send the packages on. They say, however, that they're trying their best to spot packages of bees and push them to the front of the delivery queue. Now that's more like the royal treatment that a queen expects to receive.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. Deliveries of what insects have been held up due to delays in the Australian postal system? That's right, they're bees. Question number 2. What's the name of the new team in the NRL? Yeah, they're the Dolphins. Question number 3. What are Australian scientists and engineers working on to send to the moon? That's right, it's a rover.
Shout-outs.
It's October 14, National Dessert Day in the United States. I think we need to start a petition to bring that National Day to Australia. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Summer from Ipswich, Kinsley from Sydney, Chelsea from Kiama Downs, Eloise from the Gold Coast, Cola from Brisbane, Lily from Carroll, and Cooper from Albany Hills. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Charlotte from Bathurst, Amelie from Watson, and Oliver from South Australia. And because our friends in Melbourne, Canberra and Sydney aren't at school, we're sending out home learning herograms. First one goes to Miss Finnegan at the Sacred Heart Primary School in Casterton, and a very happy birthday to her for today. Herograms also go to all the kindy teachers at Cranbrook School in Bellevue Hill, and to all the grade 2 teachers at Skeggs, Darlinghurst, who are doing an amazing job making home learning fun. Bronte sends a home learning shout out to her class Team Boundy at St Thomas More Primary School in Mount Eliza. Another shout out goes to Lily, Colby and Lenny from Womberall. Your mum says you've all been home learning legends. Lastly, to 34M and Mrs Eve McLeod and 34J and Ms Jackson at Abbotsford Public School. And finally, classroom shout outs to those lucky Squiz Kids who are not in lockdown. To Class 5, 6G and Mrs Graham at Narandra Public School, and Sarah, Isabella and Kai, who are all new students in grade 5-6 at Cannon Hill State School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out or you'd like to send a home learning herogram, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.